Oil prices are up substantially, and that is going to create big profits for big oil companies and big energy producers. Let's face it, we need energy for just about everything. We need energy to run YouTube. We need energy to run our computers. We need energy to run the stock market. The big AI push, you can't do that without energy. You need energy to run cars, to run infrastructure, you name it. We need oil. And I know that oil could be a political topic. I'm not going to go there. I'm just going to be with the reality. People on Earth use oil to power just about everything. The increase in oil prices creates a very profitable scenario for oil companies. And it's nothing new. The richest man on Earth for a while was a big oil baron. And he created his wealth by having a monopoly on oil. Now we have what I would call an oligopoly of big oil companies like Chevron, Exxon, and others that become very profitable. They pay very high dividends. Now, in early 2024, this sector is performing great, paying very good dividends. Yet it's not getting the airplay that you see with AI or technology and other topics that are quite interesting. But at the end of the day, not only do I want interesting investments, more importantly, I want to make money in 2024. And I think I can make good money from the energy sector in 2024. I want to talk about this sector, share with you what I'm seeing in the sector, and how I plan to profit from big oil companies in 2024. My first job out of college was to go work as an accountant for a big oil company. And it was a really interesting experience. Back then, per barrel, the oil price was $16. We're up to $86 per barrel. So much higher than way back when. And more recently, over the last 4 months, we've seen that oil has really gone up 26% just in the last 4 months. And when you see the price per barrel go up, that means that an oil company, their top line revenue is going to go up by 26%. That means their profits are going to expand. That means cash flow immediately increases. So it makes oil companies that much more valuable. Oil is really looked at because it has a big effect on the economy. If you have very high oil prices, it really shrinks the profits of companies that need a lot of oil. And just about every company needs oil. You think about UPS, they need gasoline and diesel to power their infrastructure, to get packages to their customers. You look at Uber drivers, they need gasoline to drive passengers. I mean, just think of just about every industry, they need energy, they need oil. That said, if it's too high, it really affects the economy. Right now at $86 per barrel, it's beginning to affect the economy. Now, buying an oil company can have a good hedge against high oil prices. The reason for it is if you own an oil company and we have a condition of high oil prices, then you have an automatic hedge. Yeah, the economy is going to slow down because companies are having to deal with a high oil price, but your oil company stock is flying up in value. They're also paying you really good dividends because they're making lots of money. So it's a natural hedge. One of the reasons why I hold a pretty good position in one oil company that I'll talk about later. The big rise in oil prices has really made the energy sector the top performing sector against all other sectors in the past month, even better than communication services that has Alphabet, Meta, Netflix in it. It pretty much doubled the performance in the last month if you look at the last month performance. And you think about an appreciation of 14%, that's phenomenal. Most of these companies also pay a very high dividend rate. In the case of Chevron, they pay more than a 4% dividend. So add 4% on top of a 14% yield over the last month. That's a phenomenal return. And if you look at year to date, it's not much higher than the 14%. So this is more recent. This is a recent push on oil prices. Over the last 10 years, the return hasn't been all that great. I think a good part of that is the COVID year, which really sank oil prices. This is a market that as oil prices go up or down, so does the value of an oil company. So it is a volatile industry, but right now it is top of the stack if you look at the last month. Let me take a closer look at 4 companies within this sector: Chevron, Exxon, Shell, and Occidental. I own Chevron. I've owned it for a long time. The oil company that I went to work for, went straight out of college, was acquired by Chevron and is now part of the overall Chevron company. So I've owned my shares for a long time. I also owned Exxon in the past. So just to put that out there. For the past month, Chevron is up 8%. Nice return for 1 month. Exxon is really doing great at 13%. Shell is up 11%. And then Occidental, which is Warren Buffett's one of his favorite stocks, is up 13%. Year to date, the companies are doing well. Chevron's up 8%. Exxon is up a whopping 18.5%. Shell's up 8%. And then Occidental is up 15%. Keep in mind, Chevron, Exxon, and Shell pay a really high dividend rate. So appreciation and income, really good recipe for having this type of company in my income portfolio. I'm glad I have Chevron. Occidental doesn't pay as high of a dividend, but it's certainly showing great appreciation. Warren Buffett continued to buy into Occidental in 2023, and he's looking again like a genius, which he is in investing once again. I try to have good diversification in my portfolio, and having a solid energy company like Chevron, which is a big position in my portfolio, has always been a good idea for me. It does a couple of things for me. One, it creates really good income because Chevron pays a nice dividend. Two, in case oil prices rise, which would affect the economy, it's a really nice hedge to have an oil company that's going to benefit from that rise in oil and appreciate. So that's a double reason why I like having Chevron in my portfolio. I hope you found my video interesting, and I really appreciate you watching.